Welcome back, my friends. We came back to Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, and you know what? A joke just came to me. Since these two are supposed to be Mario and Luigi, I'm sorry, but when I see their images here, my first thought was, Yahoo! Yeah! Yahoo! Yeah! Yahoo!
I remember that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours, and a gas door was ajar, see? It was like some kind of sign, begging for us to go in, it was.
Right.
But once we got inside, oh blimey loomy, we heard a gunshot from the back rooms. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that nice and quiet. A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property,
We were just talking about
an even more sinister crime was afoot. They're going on. The witness's testimony was consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside, and within, only the victim and the accused were found. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses, and of course, counsel if you please. Counsel? Yes. What's the matter, Runo? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair on the stand. I know that it's all nonsense, because I saw it with my own eyes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. Okay, so I'm going to do something dumb here, because there is an achievement tied to these two. So, the achievement is, you press one of the brothers, and then when you get the chance to, you pursue the other brother's line of thought. So, he's talking to Nash, he's talking to Ringo, pursue Ringo. Hey. Do you have something to add? Yeah? What? Something that was just said now appears to have got you thinking. Well, yeah. I was just thinking about me bruv, Sulky. Oh, the one you've lost touch with? Yeah. Blimey, he could be a saint sometimes, that one. Always used to give me a share of his grub when he had anything to eat. He sounds like a very kind man. Get out of it! These chips are mine! I'm not sharing! And now, you do the same thing, but you reverse the brother order. Now I'm going to press on Ringo, and I'm going to pursue, when I get the chance, I'm going to pursue Nash. They do, Nash, they do.
Excuse me.
And this should get me an achievement. I could be wrong. Yes. What? Something that was said and now just appears to have got you thinking. Oh, well, yeah, I was just thinking about me bruv, Sulky. Oh? The one you've lost touch with? Yeah, Gore, he could be a nasty piece of work sometimes, that one. Always used to nab me share of the grub when we had anything to eat. He does sound like a very mean man. Oi! What are you looking at me for, sunshine? Yep, there it is. Sulky's story. For having pursued one brother and then pursuing the other. Alright. Okay, now we can get to the meat and potatoes of this. It's the fifth statement that needs to be pressed on. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. Blah, blah, blah.
Hold it.
Yeah. You didn't do or take anything? Is that your story? Well, it was Bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out, Lucy Lockets. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left nice and quietly, you say? That's right, Governor. nothing we ate more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out me Lucy lockets. So, you'd clearly like us to believe. Eh? Come again? As you fled from the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Saints alive, they fired a gun, you say? Ah! Blimey, Governor! You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway? It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Didn't you mention that before? You were armed with a gun. And as you fled the scene, you fired that gun. London's greatest detective, Herlock Sholmes. They shot the great Herlock Sholmes. I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor he had been rushed to hospital. The great Sholmes? That's beyond the pay. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance repeatedly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel shows signs of a shot having been fired from it. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, Counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. Skulkin Brothers' gun. Firearm found in the possession of the Skulkin Brothers upon their arrest. There are signs that a single round was fired. Now, my learned Nipponese friend. Yes. Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are the telltale signs of spent powder on this gun, and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. Well, I don't need evidence, because I was there.
Objection!
However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windy Banks that night? Wouldn't it just be the bullet in the calendar? The court demands that all claims were affirmed were clear proof. What evidence shows that the witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbrokers? Sample 1, yes. So, yep, right here. It's this one. Yep, that's what I thought. It's just it's the calendar. That's the one that was fired.
Take that!
The evidence is in this portfolio. What on earth have you there, Counsel? During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do. How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. You claim to have the evidence that court is demanding therein? Yes, my friend. No more dallying then, Counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do we have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? Well, it's obviously the first one because it's got the bullet in the calendar, and that blood stain is one that we don't know yet. So it's most likely Herlock's blood.
Take that!
What is that? Explain. It's a photographic print taken at Windy Banks Pawnbrokery on the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, it is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes do not deceive me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windybank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight, but this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right. And while it isn't irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence of that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. No! Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zeeks? I'm aging too gracefully for this shit. If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my hollowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the scene. Eh? Take it easy there, Governor. We're gonna land us in this... You're gonna land us in the soup! We had a deal. We weren't gonna get into them details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zeeks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponi's friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zeeks? As has been established, at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and victim. In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windybank at all. So that's it. That's it! We didn't have nothing to do with it! We didn't, Nash, we didn't! That's what I reckon! Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and, let us not forget, attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? We're in for it now, bruv. Now, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem the man patronized the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric? Says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh, that's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders. What is that, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half an hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in the quite desultory fashion. rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop. If I may refer the court to the plan of the premises, their respective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera. Hee, that's a bit of friar talk, eh, bruv? Lady Luck loves the skulkin'. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? Eh? Must have been around just after 1, right, bruv? Must have been, Nash, must have been. Yeah, just gone 1. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. Good lord! It's the defendant! Miss Gina Lestrade. As the court can clearly see, the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter, no doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Quite. One can only be too easily imagine the events that unfolded. The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel. Photograph taken. I don't believe it! Ginny! In short, the accused is the only person who could have killed Mr. Windybank. Arg! I say, my lord. Wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Take a belly bullet to the knee in the Battle of Maywood in 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Of course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battle after retirement, you see. The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron. 6 men, all good and true. And we'll all go down together, you mark my words. One for all and all for one. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. That is the Gyaradev Squadron's positions. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. Status report of the court, men. On the double. His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions, too. I think you'll find the truth is as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth is now undeniable. Stop. I am very sorry for brothers. They are unlike me. Very well. I will now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her leaning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty.
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 The doctor hits it with his head. That's hilarious. It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already. Photograph. It must be the definitive evidence that Grayson mentioned. But Ginny didn't shoot it. No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Very well. The court grants permission. So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. We shall proceed immediately with the summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Ab-so-bally-lutely, sir. Always ready for action, my chaps. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. The jurors' contentions. All the evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketeer. As a housemaid, I would like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. If I had left it in there, I should think there'll be repercussions by now. Mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop. In Motherland, we would never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. I'm doing the thing that they do for Walter Koenig for Star Trek, nuclear vessels. Really? Hey, that's how they're writing his dialogue. The circumstances of the crime and the evidence to indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensive. A storeroom locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone, and in the accused's hand, fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses. Not to mention the sprint. Take it from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That young girl's on the verge of pulling the volley trigger. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder. I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. Which means there's more to the situation that we've yet to see. Agreed. You have the floor, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. All right. So there's a couple things we could probably look at here. Most notable, one thing that sticks out is the maid's comment. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated.
Hold it!
Polishing the bench, I see, again. Housemaid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pit purses, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps? Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those back slums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the great detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes. That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rant's magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes? A maid? It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our very great detective. Minor detail, it was the two brothers in the stand that shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendants. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it just might be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, all right. I shall amend my statement. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shooting the great detective. Okay. Aha! There it is. We have our thing. Now, notice how the maid, juror number 2, is saying that the brothers are guilty for shooting the great detective. Well, what does our quote unquote British friend on the far end say? He's saying that the brothers are innocent. She's saying the brothers are guilty.
Objection.
These two statements clearly contradict each other. Good lord! Counsel, explain yourself. Oh my statement? Contradictory? Contradict. C-O-N. Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick, I have mouse. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen, A-B-D. Sir? Sorry. My English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear? Forgive me, I did not hear. Here is word. Abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. If this is what you mean, I should say in plain English, I am Russian, not native speaker. Who thought it was a good idea to let this man on the jury again? So, you are telling me these brothers who look like criminals are lying? They said before, we never done nothing, but truth is, they shot detective. Duh, this is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Lying is worse, especially when lie is said by person who looks like criminal. I shall squeeze mouths in anger. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means, when they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also big fat lie. Is this true? Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now! It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir. I must see with own eyes. I must investigate crime scene myself. I'm afraid that won't be possible. Yes, it is, Bruno. Easily. Sorry? With the prints from Hurley's red-headed recorder. Ah. If you compare the prints that pictures Ginny and the next print from half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Cooey, Mr. Prosecutor. Tut, calling on the prosecution in the middle of nation examination times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is the print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot. As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken, but there is a difference. That does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything that's obviously missing in the second print. So the brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot the man, and they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good. You were right. I did not understood situation. Now I know brothers lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial. Alright. That's one. Yay, well done, Runo. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. If I can do that, let's turn the situation in our favor still. Continue the summation examination, and kindly hand that new photographic prints to the bailiff to be filed as evidence. Okay. Another print in the courtroom. I wonder if we can make use of it. Alright, so mine made up. Mine is made up.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journey. Ah, but now we have the electric telegram. So we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cables have been laid along the ocean beds, connecting the entire world. Thousands of miles of cable on the ocean bed? It makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You are well informed, young lady. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages carried over airwaves, four corners of globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmosphere electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Era of wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are a height of technology. What utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just silly toys. Boyo is not happy by that comment.
Excuse me.
Juror number 3? Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say to juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess? Oh, I bet I do! Say it again! Go on, I dare you! Goodness, are you talking to me? I think he just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you? Huh? Absolutely. I mean, really. A machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions. Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know. Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Take a crime scene, for example. If you had a pair of photographs from the crime scene that you could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues that you'd never even noticed before. What? Have you got any, Runo? Any prints that could lead to that you could look at with a stereoscope? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Take that!
All right then, juror number 3. Are you saying you could do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then. I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more piece and I can analyze it. And then we do the post-shooting.
Take that!
Alright, these 2 prints were both taken at the same camera in Windy Banks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, Mr. Lawyer. Do you know how stereographic images work? Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson yesterday. The left and right eye images need to be the same, only with a slight shift in the positions of some objects. Then when your brain merges the two images together inside your head, it notices the shift as if it were depth. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in two pictures that's really important. So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyway. Oh, of course, now I see. I think the young girl has discovered the secret. I have. Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these two pictures of Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on. Oh yeah, I do notice it now. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them? Yeah, there is. It's the book. Of course there is. There are two people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away, but now, try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions. Alright, I'll give it a go. See, you can't do this right now. Yeah, so unfortunately, the thing is, with this, you normally would be playing this on the 3DS, so you would have the 3D function to do this with, or you could do the crossing your eyes thing. But the problem is, I suck at this, so there is one thing that is poking out here. You can notice it just by looking at the images. Let's see if by crossing my eyes I can make the quill pens overlap the middle. Wait. Well, did you manage to see it properly, Runo? Yes, I saw it. Yes, I saw it. Ugh! What's going on in these two pictures? Some of these things on the counter, they sort of jump out at you. Yes, that's it, you see. That's the other amazing power of stereoscopes. Other amazing power? Is someone going to explain this black magic, eh? Why the deuce do some of the things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that, hmm? I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope? As I said before, if you try to look at two identical pictures moving using the stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures three-dimensionally. In other words... Oh yeah, I do notice it on those guys too. There is a slight shift. So we're looking at it in two different cameras. Yeah. Even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, it shows that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. There. Yes, there must have been. It's hard to see. Like, it took me a while to figure it out too. Now hold fire there, sir. Got a reasonable grasp of the whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does this shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master. What, me? I had the first idea. You know, Runo, it's quite simple. It is? Just think it through step by step. The first photograph was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appears to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometime in that half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Zookers! Someone tampered? New information. Stop. Not mentioned in testimony so far. Stop. Yes. We've got to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this summation examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question now is clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by who? Are you suggesting you might know? Of course. I can tell you right now who is responsible for the almost perceptible shift on the items on the counter. So, there are two options, but they're the obvious answers. Let's go with Nash, because he's the taller one, so he could reach the counter a little bit easier.
Take that!
Sorry, Nash, I hate to single you out, but it was the witnesses currently on the stand, the Skulkin brothers. Wait. This does not agree with what brothers said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from lacy lockets. My phrase book says dukes is meaning hands and Lucy lockets is meaning pockets. But is this another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Hold on there a minute. I can't be sure. You can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun at the victim. It would seem, as my learned friend indicated, that she was coercing Mr. Windybank to open the storeroom door. In other words, Miss Lestrade's interests lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. The accused is a pick purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further for a wrongdoer there? Here, because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madam. No better, in fact worse than a pick purse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's a pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair. You all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand. Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. Will return home via Regent Street. Stop. Yeah, there we go. That's 4 out of 6. We can keep the trial going. Well, it would seem this trial is yet to run its course. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call this summation examination to conclusion with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury will now is without consensus, and I order this trial to continue. Yay! Well done! Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this window. You never know when it might come in use. Twice in one trial would be unusual, surely, but all right. Yeah, unusual, but if they give you something, it's highly likely that you're going to use it. Lord Van Zeeks. You will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. I'm sure it would spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. I won myself another chance to probe that pair about the activities that were released. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. Dude, if you're going to probe people like that, you at least buy them dinner first. And whenever you do, wash your hands. Alright, so that was part 1 of 4. Yep. Grab a snack. We're going to be here for a while. Now, give me one moment, my friends. I have to run to the washroom. Coffee is going through me faster than I thought. I will be back quickly, and we can continue from there. All right, I'm back. Let's continue. We are done with part 1. We're starting part 2 of 4.
No new messages in chat.
We bought ourselves a second chance because we had to do a summation examination. Order, please. Let us resume proceeding. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand. So here's what you missed. We established quite a few things. We established that the Skulkin brothers were the ones that fired the bullet.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So yeah, that's most likely Herlock's blood on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got. Then we got this is the Skulkin brothers. This is the gun that fired the shot. I actually haven't examined it yet, which we will in a little bit. And then we've got some pictures taken by Herlock's makeshift security camera system.
Okay.
We got the one picture at 1 a.m. of Gina holding up Mr. Windybank. And then we got a second photo after the fact. In fact, we just had a section where the dude with the stereoscope pointed out the stuff in the back, like with the skull and everything, was slightly moved in that half an hour time period.
Okay.
And that's why it was jumping out. And we established that that was something that the Skulkin brothers did to prove that they were there.
So there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver's 6 cylinders?
Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it.
Exactly.
The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it?
Yes. It happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windybank's door.
I'll make those brothers pay. It's like nothing. Okay, cool. You can now retake the stand. I presume you've heard the defense counsel's summation examination? You still want me being both?
Yeah, you can be both.
Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov, I did.
Mr. and Mrs. Mrs.
Which one's the missus?
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Oh, blimey!
This is gonna be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windybanks.
Well, it was bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out me Lucy lockets.
However, that was a lie. You brothers...
God, blimey!
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
We never done nothing of the sort. Oi, did you figure that out?
Do slip sink ships.
You will now give formal testimony once again. You will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. This time, you will tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. That, gentlemen, may may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering. Say no more, guy. We hear ya. We blab, we squeak, we'll peach. These two memories are like the best part of this trial. I love it. Love these two. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't raffling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump, and all that stuff went flying. Lummy, it didn't half give me a fright. We was thinking of the shooter come out the door and give us necks. We stuck everything back where we found it and scarper straight into him in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we? So you admit to the defense's accusation. You did indeed ransack Mr. Windybank's countertop the night in question. Not ransack, Governor, no. That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah. Sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess. The way you say it, we hardly sound like roughs at all. We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't he make us sound a bit more cutthroat?
It can't be just coincident that these men showed up at Windybanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. Transformers! I'm sure of it.
Alright, so there's one statement that caught me, right?
Not mine. Was somebody reacting to it?
No, but there's one thing that we should do. That's when all the stuff went flying when they heard the gunshot. It sounds like they're trying to deflect.
Yeah.
Or at least Ringo is trying to deflect.
So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much you knocked all of those things off the counter?
Well, it shocked one of us that much, yeah. This bag of nerves needs to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, all right? Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up with that bang. Big bruv here is screaming like a bloomin' baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over all load of books, a candlestick, and some skull one time. That got tangled in the marionette. We knocked over the picture frame and knocked them scales on the floor.
You've really mastered working quietly then.
What a racket! Me granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clatter like that.
Hang on, there's a problem with that statement, though. If they jump at the sound of a gunshot, why do they have a gun?
Maybe it was a different gunshot. Maybe they're used to their own gunshots, but not other gunshots.
So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise.
And then some. I mean, it was quiet in a mouse, and all of a sudden, bang! You have something to add, sir?
Excuse me.
Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add?
Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels.
Josh, you're not going to voice him?
You want to voice Gregson, or do you want me to do
You would notice. Well,
No, something to add about their testimony. You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something?
It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it, only... Well, the fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details.
How about you just tell us what's on your mind?
As you know, we brought these fellows into the yard for questioning last night. And the statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now.
Did it?
You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot.
Might have does ring a bell now you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas?
If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against you.
Did you just say hitherto untold?
And also also sloppy? We'll get it right this time. That's it. Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
And even the Reaper of the Bailey is just like, are you freaking kidding
Yeah,
me?
he's kind of not bothering with their shenanigans either. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Gil. Okay, so statement number 3.
Jiggle cheeks.
Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me the gun." The bloke what owned the place was holding a gun, so he should have fired instead of yelling at that girl.
The photo with the gun in her hands?
It shows the same bullet in his back, so that just take a look.
That means he was shot from the back. Meaning he would be saying, "Give me the gun," if he was shot from the back.
It shows the bloke what owned the place was holding the gun, so he should have fired instead of yelling at the girl. That's the question. That's the one that they're doing here. But it says to present it here because it was established. Yeah. I'm gonna try it. It doesn't seem like it's right, but I'm gonna try it.
You got multiple failures.
Objection.
Because the logic is he was killed by his own gun.
Yeah.
So if he was supposed to be holding his gun, why isn't the gun in his hand?
Yeah. So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windybank, was wielding a gun? Is that correct?
That's it, Gov. You got the picture? Yes, Nash, yes, no question.
And yet, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows
That he wasn't holding his gun.
that Mr. Windybank was not holding a firearm of any description.
Eh? You what? Gordon Bennett, that ain't right.
Wait, isn't Gordon Bennett a newer name, not an older one?
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Windybank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hand. Yeah, that mole toolers used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me the gun! Bam! Gotta think. These 2 idiots.
Stay exactly right where you are. Right there.
Eh?
If the crime had taken place as you so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments that you just described.
Goodness, are you sure, counsel? You intrigue me, my learned friend. But let's see some evidence to support your claim.
Gee, maybe the bullet hole in the back, not the front?
Yeah, where's the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's double?
The same photo you just showed.
There's that, but I believe it's also the autopsy report also does that. It talks about it too. Where is the autopsy report? Am I missing? Oh, yeah, it is. A report prepared by the block. single bullet wound in upper half of victim's back.
Yeah.
And the way they did it is they showed that he would have been shot in the front.
Yup.
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout, "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
The crime scene photo would have also done it.
Yeah.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states that the victim died instantly after being shot from behind.
Ah!
So as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Yeah! But it's the God's honest truth. It is, Nash, it is. When we were shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand. We saw him with our bleeding eyes.
Oh, great. They just buried themselves. Did I hear you just just now? You actually saw Mr. Windybank holding a gun?
Somewhat like that might have slipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have all just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question they actually saw, with their own eyes, the victim wielding a gun. Which can only mean that despite their testimony to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person.
Nasher. Order! Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, we weren't supposed to,
Be spotted.
It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, we cut it out, Nash. Cut it out. You're black now. You know what he'll do to us.
He? Who were they talking about? I knew it. He did fake his death.
Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You will talk. There is no other option available to you. Bruv, come on, the game's up.
That, or he is still dead and it's somebody else trying to follow behind him.
But you'll have our guts for garters.
It's gotta be Egg Guy. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out.
On the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances under which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death. I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. I am a very patient man, gentlemen, and you are trying that patience. Encounter with the victim. All right, so we just got inside and he a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me the gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we had it.
I doubt this. That second one.
For an old geezer, that bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the shoulder.
Over the counter.
Over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all what happened, I swear.
Wow, that entire testimony sounded wrong.
So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, You, in fact, encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time, Nash, this time we ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for.
I've been waiting for this. Okay, so there's only one statement we have to present. But believe it or not, it's actually the fifth statement, the final one.
Oh.
I mean, if when playing this game, we would have pressed on all of them anyways.
Yeah. I would have pressed on the counter one.
It's this one.
We had nothing to do with killing him. That's all that what happened.
No, really.
You say you had nothing to do with it.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Stupid sexy Flanders.
Look, hey, Nash. Hey, Nash, that Flanders fellow really was stupidly sexy, wasn't he? Yes, he was, brother. Yes, he was. Nothing, Gov. Nothing. Nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was from the inside. We know it was because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom with the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have got the victim, the accused, was Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, Counsel?
I don't know. Is there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windybank?
It could have been.
There could have been, yeah. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
What? What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you had encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely.
It did? What is your point, my learned friend?
The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Windybank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all.
You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts, so pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect to two conundrums.
Two, my lord? Twice as many chances to be right, maybe?
Indeed. Namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim? And furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
Understood, my lord.
Are you all right, Bruno?
Not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely.
So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun.
Behind the counter.
Right here.
Yeah.
Take that!
The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here.
And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? In the storeroom.
Yup.
Take that!
Because there's a door hole in there.
Yeah. that would still, because it was the fact that he was shot from inside the room. He was locked in the room at the time.
Yeah, the door was locked, but that little hole was not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom.
Continue.
Mr. Wittybank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is where the shooter was when the fatal bullet was fired.
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
It's not that we're adamant, it's that it was the only possibility. Well, according to the Skulkins brothers' earlier testimony...
I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room.
If Mr. Wittybank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Ah,
Oh, we haven't gotten to the point where there's an actual freaking hole in the door?
not yet.
Oh my gosh. It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Nyaga! Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Yeah, but when we get to the next big thing. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner, his report states that the bullet entered a body on a rising diagonal trajectory.
Oh, that wouldn't really support that hole then.
Which means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Or someone significantly taller than him.
What?
Unless they were kneeling down. Someone could have been kneeling down. It could have been Ringo.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
thinking.
could have been Ringo. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Oh, of course! He would have been leaning forwards as he was running away.
That too. That too.
True. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would still have entered his body in an upward trajectory.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Ringo.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room? Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? I've heard of weirder situations, but...
But... What if someone else locked the door? Yes, there's someone else who could have locked the storeroom door.
Is that so?
I think I figured it out already.
Very well then, counsel. Present your hypothesis to the court.
He was killed that way. The door was closed by Gina.
Yeah.
She grabbed the gun for her own protection and passed out from fear.
In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom. In which case, who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside?
Gina.
Gina.
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd! You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel?
She didn't have... Ah, yes, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it? No, there's an easily explainable way. She felt like she was in danger, so she locked the door behind him.
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
It does?
Well, if it was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they?
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, no shit, man. Like, why didn't you think of that?
Yeah. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windybank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Windybank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom.
Yes, it would. Then, probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Hit in the back by a bullet, Mr. Windybank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
I see where you're going with this.
Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windybank.
The telephone killer? Phone guy was the killer the whole time?
I say telephone.
Yeah, terrifying. I think it was what you were kind of mixing up, but whatever.
Blah, blah, blah.
Hello? 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 Ah!
I do English every not at all. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it.
Be gone, thoughts!
In order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, Gov, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on. We never shoot no one. Excuse me?
Yeah, that's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would. Because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windybank's murder.
Nah.
You guys are terrible.
Where does this leave us?
You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker at all?
I should have known it was those three brothers. It was shady in the dense forest. That was amazing, Bruno. All the members of the jury seem to have firmly on your side now.
I know, first time ever, and probably the last.
Well, if you've done it. Surely they'll give the verdict or not.
Uh-oh.
An admirable effort, my lord.
What's this now? He's laughing.
You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zeeks? I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive. This is my third bottle today. Ugh. I dare say, I don't actually drink it. Why do you think I keep crushing my chalice all the time?
What is a man?
Such a waste of good wine. Such chicanery.
Chicanery.
Yeah, chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here.
That is the first time I've seen it too. What?
What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly, credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw.
A fatal flaw? Let me guess. His body blocked the door from being closed.
Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing? I say, Lord Van Zeeks, might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground. The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. He's Japanese. Assuming you're not dim-witted to count bullets. By George, count bullets?
Oh.
Oh dear. He noticed then.
Huh? What's everyone talking about? The guns that only fired one round. We know because the other chambers are full.
So, by that logic, if he fired on both Sholmes and him, the gun would have missed 2 bullets.
But each gun is only missing one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Tell the court, how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime?
2. 2. 2 bullets. Ah.
Correct. The first that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Indeed, the defense presented the picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings.
Oh man, are we gonna literally go, oh yeah, no, the thing that killed Mr. Windybank isn't actually a bullet, it was just a high-moving projectile that wasn't a bullet.
The bullet was in that which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body and to strike the calendar.
That must have been a high caliber. Because if it didn't go through Mr. Windybank...
This was the gun that shot him.
Yeah, I suppose the...
This is like a mag...
Yeah.
Well, not quite, but it's like an old-fashioned, like an old... Like, it's definitely more powerful than this one.
Yeah.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Further, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident.
Are you sure it's not 3?
The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windybank, and the Skulkin brothers' revolver. But that's the thing. Windybank had the revolver in his hand at the time. How was he killed by his own revolver?
Yeah, that's the other problem.
The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago that these 2 brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes.
Yes, I did.
Oh my goodness, I think you'll find...
Not if the single bullet was fired from the brothers. God hit Mr. Sholmes, it means...
Windybank not shot by same gun, stop. Only 1 bullet, stop.
The bullet was fired on the knoll.
Boom, boom, boom. Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny.
Actually, you'll find that we already kind of gave ourselves a little bit of wiggle room on that one.
I'll
But
mace you good!
Arrgh!
Order, order, order!
Brett.
I love it every time he does it.
Brett.
Pray forgive the
My leg!
My leg! Oh! Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery.
Hey, pretty good.
Ow, my leg! Ow, my leg! Good wine. Lord Van Zeeks, stop yeeting your wine into the gallery. The bailiff has to clean that up all the time, and he's sick of it. This court needs to open its eyes.
I can't open my eyes, it's full of wine!
Is that really necessarily a bad thing?
Yes, it burns!
Uncultured swines, the lot of them.
Also, I'm covered in glass shrapnel!
Okay, that's more believable. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can, regrettably, no longer be described as a juvenile.
Bruh.
No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct.
So do those 2!
The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent.
Okay, that's not incorrect.
As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with a murder weapon.
No, she's not aiming it at the victim at all.
And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present.
That disc!
You got a line?
I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of McGilded's down to the yard. Thank you very much.
No, don't! Don't give it to him! It's mine, Daddy! It's mine!
Boy.
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Yes, that music box disc. McGilded's music box disc. Music box disc.
The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windybank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her. With none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious. Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets the fact at its peril. I see. I think it will be prudent to take this music box disc in evidence, counsel. It's a grim testament to the defendant's... Hold it!
Lord Van Zeeks,
It's gone missing, hasn't it? Inspector Gregson, what?
Yes, Inspector?
we had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zeeks at all.
I am unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent.
Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence. Indeed, bailiff. There seems to be some conspiracy going on here, especially with the police department.
Yeah.
Well, the only one who has the power to do that is Strongheart.
Yeah.
And that means there's a lot more going on with him.
We're gonna continue this next time, but it seems like the government is sticking its greasy fingers into this case.
Or someone in the government who wants to hide and use him.
And it's that disc that's at the center of it.
Well, sounds like we're close to the end of the trial.
Oh, no, we're
No,
not.
Alrighty, folks, that's it for today. We'll see you guys again on Sunday for some more Phasmophobia with some Alan Wake spiced into it. In the meantime, we'll see you. Well, check our offline page for the rest of our schedule. If you want to check the rest. If you want to join our lovely community, please join us here on the Poutine Munchers Discord. And if you want to watch us live, watch us here on twitch.tv/Terpnator. We'll see you guys then. Bye.
Later.